Alright guys, we have an important video today. We'll be talking about distinguishing between the mistakes you do and who you are, and you are not your mistakes. That's the title of the video, so keep up. We'll start soon. See ya.
Alright, hello everyone, hope you're doing well. Okay, today I'll be talking about the importance of distinguishing between the mistakes you do as a person and who you are. Okay, the mistakes you do as an external action and who you actually are as a person. Okay, so first of all, you need to know the source of the problem. The problem of not distinguishing between the mistakes you do and who you are, and mixing them together and starting to judge yourself all the time, seeing yourself a bad person, all started when you were a kid. When we were kids, our parents made some mistakes in raising us, teaching us maybe the surrounding, the siblings, the environment you grew up in. I don't know. When you were a kid, this happened to you, to me, to all of us, people who mix between the mistakes we do and who we actually are, our identity as people, as a person. Okay, so it started all when we were kids. Why do you need to know that? You need to know the source of the problem so that it will be simple for you to start fixing it. The problem didn't start within you. The problem didn't start because you are a bad person and you were born that way and it is your destiny. No, it started because something external, your parents, the environment, as I said, the people you grew up with, siblings, brothers, sisters, I don't know. It's the environment, is something outside of you when you were a kid. They blamed you and judged you for making some foolish mistakes when you were a kid. And that's what kids do, right? We all made mistakes in a daily basis, maybe in an hourly basis when we were kids. That's what kids do. Okay, they are supposed to make mistakes in a daily basis. And then people around us, whether parents, siblings, as I said, the environment, cousins, it doesn't matter. People around us in the environment we grew up in, they judged us for the mistakes we made. They didn't distinguish between who we were as kids, as a person, and the action we did that was external, that was something out of us. It is not within us. It is not a part of our DNA. It is not a part of who we are. Okay, let's give an example. When we were kids, people blamed us and treated us and judged us because of the mistakes we did, because they weren't able to distinguish between the two. The mistakes we were making and the people we were, the identity, they are separate things. They are two separate things. But when we were kids, parents and the environment did not distinguish these two. They were mixing them together. They were telling us that we are stupid. We are not worthy of whatever gift or present that they should have given us in the weekend, for example, or whatever the thing that was going to be rewarded to us for good acting. They told us we were bad people. Maybe it wasn't you. Maybe not me. Maybe my parents didn't tell me that. Maybe your parents didn't tell you that. But I'm talking to the people who their parents judged them. The environment judged them when they were kids for the mistakes they made, just because they didn't distinguish. They couldn't distinguish between the mistake and the person. They are two separate things. They are not one entity. They are separate. So when you understand the source of the problem, and when you know that now you are responsible, you hold yourself accountable to fixing that. It is actually simple. It is not complicated. First of all, you need to know the source of the problem, as I said, and then from there, start to fix it. Okay, this is the first thing. Second thing, you need to know that the mistake you do is an external action because of the environment, because of something happened out of your control. Maybe sometimes something in your control, but you need to understand the mistake, even if it's something in your control, it is always something external. It's not within. It is not a part of who you are. It is just it is an action you did outside of yourself. And then you need to know also who you actually are, your identity as a person, your importance as a person, as a character, as a personality. Okay, you need to sit down and bring the things that you did, good decisions that you did, the things that really helped others, the things that helped you move forward in your life, the good decisions you made back in time or you are making right now. Even if it's small decision, try to add them up, try to collect them, bring them all together so that you know who you are. You know that you are actually a person with an identity who makes good decisions, who made good decisions back in time, who did good in a lot of times in life, who said good things a lot of times in life. When you do that, when you separate the mistake and you realize it's an external action, and you go a little bit under the surface, not too deep. We will talk about going too deep in the identity in another video. Not going too deep, just under the surface, just a little bit under the surface. The knowing who you actually are, and then the things you did that are good, that were good, the things that gave you good results, good feedback from others, the beautiful things you did, the beautiful things you said to others. When you separate these two things, one amazing thing happens. You start to separate, you start to distinguish between the mistakes you do and who you are, and you stop judging yourself for that. Because back in time when I was too young, I used to judge myself just because of the mistakes I did from time to time, that were not because I was reckless, not because I was not responsible, not because I was foolish, acting foolish. No, it was just because I'm human and we are all bound to make mistakes. No one is perfect. I didn't know that back in time. I didn't know that when I was too young. I just judged myself all the time for every detailed mistake I made, for every single wrong thing I said to others, just because I didn't have enough experience in life, in the relationships. I wasn't wise enough to know what to say and what to not say. And then, when I started to distinguish between the mistakes I made and who I actually am, I started to see myself clearly. I started to have better self-awareness. I started to shape my character in better ways, to build better personality, because I started to see the good side in me. I started to see that I am actually a good person. I just made some bad mistakes, I learned from, and then I moved forward. So this is what you need to know. You stop judging yourself. Again, you stop judging yourself when you distinguish between the mistakes you do and who you actually are. But as long as you mix these two together, the external action of making the mistake and who you are, as long as you mix these two, you will always judge yourself for every mistake you make and then not learn from it, because you can't learn from a mistake as long as you judge yourself and go through the self-flagilation and start seeing yourself as a bad person, because from there you will create a bad feeling about yourself, a bad idea and image about who you are to yourself, and then from there take the next bad decision, the next wrong turn, and then from there make the next mistake. You see? So first of all, you need to distinguish between the two. You are not your mistakes. The mistakes you make are outside of you. They are external. They are not something within. They are not internal. They are not who you are. They are not in your DNA. Okay? They are just things that you grew up, people blaming you for doing. You were stupid doing that. Why did you do that? You do not learn anything. I always tell you, you don't focus. And all these judgments, they were put into us when we were kids. And then from there, we didn't learn how to distinguish between the mistakes we made and who we actually are. If you distinguish these two, you'll be able to stop judging yourself. And then you will sit down and then analyze the mistake you made go a little bit under the surface of the mistake and then learn from it, not to do it again. But you will be able to do that. You will be able to learn from the mistake you made only when you do not judge yourself for it. When you do not go through the self-flagellation you used to go through because of doing the mistake. Okay? So this is the second thing. The third and the last thing you need to know is that I'm not saying, this is the third important thing in the process of distinguishing between the mistakes you do and who you actually are. The third important thing, please focus with me here. It is knowing that I'm not saying don't hold yourself accountable for the mistakes you make. I'm not saying don't hold yourself responsible and don't take the responsibility to fix the mistake. I'm just saying distinguish between the mistakes you do and who you are. Not to judge yourself, not to hate yourself. Then from there, you start to learn from the mistake to fix it. Because a lot of people think when they say, I'm not my mistakes. It's okay to make mistakes. We're not perfect. No one is perfect. We are all bound to make mistakes. And then from there, they don't hold themselves accountable. They don't take the responsibility not to do the mistake again. Okay? They just say, yeah, I did it. Yeah, whatever. And then what? Yeah, it's not the end of the world. Whatever. It's good to distinguish between the mistake and who you are. It is good to feel the acceptance and give the psychological air to yourself to do the mistake. But it is a really bad thing to not hold yourself accountable, to not take the responsibility to fix what you are doing, what you have done, to others or to yourself. Whatever the mistake you do, small or big, okay? Important, like significantly catastrophic mistake or just a trivial mistake. It doesn't matter. Whatever the mistake, whatever the kind of the mistake you do, there is always a room to fix. There is always a room to fix the mistake. There is always a room to learn from the mistake, not to do it again, and to become wiser and to take better decisions after doing the mistake. Learning from it, then moving forward in your life. So, first of all, you need to know the source of the problem. The source, it was when we were kids. It is not something we did. It is not something in our DNA. It is not a part of who we are. It's just something that was put upon us when we were kids. So the environment, parents, whatever. The second thing is to distinguish between the mistake as an external action and who we actually are as good people, because we have done some good things. We said beautiful things. We have helped a lot of people along the way. Just try to, like as David Goggins says, the cookies jar. Try to fill the cookies jar. Okay. Try to know that you have achieved some good things. Okay. So the second step, distinguishing between the two. The third step, the third thing, and the final thing, which is really important and significant to do also in the process, is knowing that you should hold yourself accountable and take the responsibility to learn from the mistake, move forward, not to do it again, but also not to judge yourself for doing it. There is a fine line between the two. You need to distinguish between these two. So 3 things, 3 steps you need to go through to do that. So thank you guys. Remember, you are not your mistakes. See you in the next video.